Hello, everyone. Thanks for tuning into this episode of the Creatives of Windsor Podcast. I'm your host, Anthony Sherdon, and today I'm sitting down with local socialite, Stephen Drouin.
Boom.
Thanks for coming on.
No, thank you.
I've been meaning to have you on for a while, but like now with the Fashion Week thing, there's like, purpose to it. So it's like perfect.
No, totally.
Yeah.
I've actually been watching them, and I've actually had moments where I'm like, I want to be on this so bad. So when you were like, let's do it, I'm like, oh my gosh, the moment's happening.
That's awesome. That's cool that like, you never asked me, like I asked you, but you wanted to come on.
Yeah,
so that's cool. Yeah.
The moment had to have been right.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like there's like, I have so many, like you've been on my list for forever, but like, sometimes I'll like go grab somebody from the list, but a lot of times like things come up like this and it's like, I'm just going to have you on because like there's more than just like what you do generally to talk about now.
There's got to be something worth talking about.
Yeah. Which like most creatives, like we can just talk about like your career or history as an artist. But when there's like something coming up, it's so much easier.
100%.
Yeah. So, okay, let's dive into Fashion Week then.
So Fashion Week Windsor, inaugural. Windsor's never had a Fashion Week.
Cool.
So I'm the creative director there. I have a full committee that we put together. Moya McAllister, Lori Moore, Katie Wall, Angelina. I'm going to mess up her last name, but so we created a big committee, and it started back in October. We kind of had the idea last year, October 2024, and I just set the date for March 25th, 26th, and 27th. And I'm kind of like just shocked that not shocked, but that we've got so much work that we've really put together, and we created a week that's got some funding, and not just funding, but we got a presenting sponsor through Stitch Happens, cool. The fabric store in Walkerville. Yep. So it's a fascinating moment that we actually started something in October, and it just showcases that like you can really get something, like a ton of things done.
That's really fast.
Yeah.
Like, what is that? 5 months? 6?
It would have, so from October to March, I think it's about 6 months. But you have to think like we still did like get designers, get models, like.
Yeah, that's not like, a lot of time.
No, and to do like a press day, get tickets, get venues, like 6 months is like, no, like,
yeah,
like, so when you really think about what we're creating here and what we've done, it's in the support that we've received in the time period that we have, it just feels like it's been needed.
Yeah, no, it's awesome. I want to go from like start to finish of like what it is, what's happening every day. So I'm going to start first with, did you get the arts and culture grant for this? Did I see that?
So I kind of had the idea that we just didn't want to like go for a lot of funding. We really wanted to make it this kind of inaugural year that if we can like balance the books and like not have to like get that money, like we're golden. Okay. So in year 2, year 3, like when we want to go get money, we know that it's set. Like cool. It's not, we're not relying on, sometimes people or organizations rely on funding and money to come in, but then they don't break even. So 1 year, like, could be in a recession, anything can happen in this world. Yep. And then you have to like rely on money. So we just said to ourselves, this is the budget we have. This is what we're willing to spend. We went on to like kind of saying like, if we only sold 50% of the tickets, we were really conservative with it. And with, nice. Like we would come out with a couple grand, but at least we could reinvest that and like do it again. Yeah.
No, that's a great way to do it. Yeah. So then you're not like, there's not as much of a risk.
Exactly. And then that way, like when you build things in the future years that we're going to do Fashion Week Windsor, it's kind of already like slated to do good. And then the rest of it's kind of gravy. We can just invest in the way that we want to do it.
Yeah. You guys have a huge team and you have so many other people like taking part.
Yeah.
What is happening? The first day is the
March
25th. What's happening that day?
So it's an exhibit at Show Studios.
Okay.
It's from I don't know the exact time. I knew the exact time, but like 6 to 9. So it's a static art exhibit of 7 different designers here in Windsor, Essex, and they create one garment. And it's on a mannequin, and people can kind of go through it like kind of like the Met. And we have complimentary beverages. 5 wine tasting through Colchester Winery.
Nice.
And then we have like complimentary food, live music from her name's Florraine, and Val, the pianist, and they'll be doing a ton of jazz, live music, and it's just gonna be a great night.
Yeah, that sounds awesome. So that's kind of like, the open. You know what's funny is I was going to go to New York City Fashion Week this year. I wanted to go photograph just some stuff, like whatever. Like there's some parties that you can get like a press pass for, and then you can like, you know, try maybe sneak into some of the other ones, but you can also like catch people in the street, whatever.
Yeah.
So I was just going to go, and then I had to work that weekend. I had my art show the night before. It was too much. And then that's like right around the time that you reached out, and I saw that I saw you were doing it, and then you reached out to me like all at the same time, and I was like, oh, that's awesome. Okay, cool. Like,
and so, yeah, so second day, so because you're part of that, I want to, we're going to plug the second day, March 26th. It's called Social Talk, not like social, SOCIAL. It's so as in SEW. So it's Social Talk. And it's hosted by Lisa Williams. And then we have, so we really wanted a diverse kind of panel of people that particularly, maybe they aren't fully in fashion, but that we could showcase things that take part of fashion. So that would be someone like you that is a photographer. And we have Melanie Reno, who put on, so she created Miss Retrofest in Chatham, and she is a model, and she's been a part of a ton of pageants for even within Miss Canada. Style by Mina, or Style Me Mina. She's a stylist, and she works with Devonshire Mall, or as independent.
She's my godfather's wife.
Really?
Yeah.
See, like it's things like that. Like it's really kind of cool that it's overlap in a way that like within our own community.
Yeah, Windsor's so small.
And then we have Elaine Chatwood through St. Clair College, the fashion design department. Cool. And then we have Valentine Yegobazitida.
Okay, that's a big name. Yeah,
big name.
That's pretty good.
And she's through costuming.
Okay.
So we got that full range of all kinds of different people, and just having that open conversation of like where they kind of came from, even with you as a photographer. Like, what did you find that you did well? And Lisa Williams is going to be able to, because she was on radio for 38 years, she's going to be able to open up those conversations in a way that we might not have seen it before. And in a way that's kind of live, and you have like this panel kind of fashion, not kind of, but that is fashion in a way. And you get an insight of what how to support the economy here and how to do things.
So are we just going to be like the 5 or the 6 or the 7 of us? We're just going to be sitting there, and then Lisa's going to be just like starting a conversation with us?
Yeah.
Cool. Like, is there going to be people in attendance?
Yes.
Okay.
So so each day you can buy individually. Okay. So those are 25 tickets per day. So for the first 2 days, that's only 25, but we have VIP that can have access to be able to go to all 3 events.
Okay.
So we just kind of wanted to have separate days where if someone wants to just go to Social Talk or go to the exhibit, we kind of gave that option to just do individual nights. Yep. So we're looking at probably about 75 to 80 people that are we hope that will be there even with VIP passes compared to like solo tickets. And I hope that answers that question.
Yeah, no, that's good. People can buy tickets and just go to one event, or they can just buy the whole thing and go. Where can they buy their tickets?
So if you want the VIP pass, there's only 10. I don't know when this is going to air, but right now we only have 10 VIP tickets left for the whole week.
Okay.
And that's
probably airing in like 2 weeks, so they'll probably be gone.
So they might be gone. But if they're not, take a look. It's on the Capitol Theater website. Okay. And but we do have like the last day that is the competition that I'll get to. I do want to apologize that I haven't sent your questions yet. We just got to get those things finalized, and then we will send those out so you're ready.
So I'm going to know what the questions are.
100%.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, so you can kind of get slightly ready for it.
Nice.
So but everything in this is like a moving part. Just like I said, from October to March, it's been a lot.
See, I find like, and that's the thing with this podcast too. Like, I have people on, and some people are like, "Oh, let me see the questions." They're nervous, and I'm like, "I can show you the questions for sure," but like, I'm just asking you about you, and like in this panel thing, like you guys are looking for me to talk from like my experience, right?
Yeah.
So it is easy to talk like about like you already know about you, so that's nice.
It
makes you a little less nervous.
But it's also good to have like points that you want to talk about, because what can happen on a panel discussion, and I think when I was saying like, I would like to bring someone from the committee to come, and you're like, no, like let's just keep it like one-on-one, because I do think the more people you do bring on, the less amped you are to just like talk individually.
True.
Where if you have a panel, things can like really go one way, and there could be a conversation like, and there's something you really want to plug. So it's just like to know those questions, or if they know something's coming up, you can kind of get your words maybe in where you can. Yep. And kind of get prepared to things that you want to bring up.
So doing 3 people on the podcast is not that like it's any more work. This is the problem, is I'm alone, and it's the video aspect. Where's the third person? We probably couldn't do a video if I ever did a third person.
Got you.
But then I need another chair, another mic stand, another mic cord. So it is a little bit more stuff. I would like to open that up one day, because like there has been a few times where people like, it would have been nice to have two people on and just have like a three-way talk.
Yeah.
Which sounds a lot of fun to me. Now that I'm saying it, I might just do it and just not videotape that one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I enjoy the, like, even with the video, I think the video is fun and it's nice, because sometimes I don't know, I think I'll leave that one alone. But I like the video. I do like the aspect of having a video, and I get what you're saying now when you think about when you're doing videography, and then you also have like vocals, and you want to make sure, like, I can get behind what you're putting down.
Like if I had, like if this was like a podcast where like I made money on or something like that, and I had like another person working, then we could have two cameras. They could switch between the two. Totally. It would be this thing. But because it's just me all the way around, I just have the one camera because it's easy. Hey,
set those dreams though. Yeah. They're there. Yeah. And then I want to just like talk about the last day.
Do it.
Which is the competition. So what's really like amazing about the competition, we have 7 designers that we picked. Roughly about 40 different designers applied to Fashion Week Windsor back in November, and we had to whittle that down to 7. And what's really great about the designers that we picked, so each person gets $100 honorarium. They get a $100 fabric stipend, and then the grand prize winner gets $500 cash. And they also get a $200 gift certificate because of our presenting sponsor, Stitch Happens. They get an additional $200 fabric gift certificate.
So, how are all the fashion designers local? Are they all from Windsor?
6 of them are, okay. And then one of them is from Detroit.
Cool.
So
that's cool. Huh? That's
yeah,
cool.
and we don't have a male designer. Not many men. I don't think a man applied. So there's like. So that's what it was. Maybe next year we'll get someone, but we really tried our best to show diversity. It wasn't saying that like we just pick someone based on diversity, but we really tried to like get a spectrum of people that have like an outlook on something in regards to fashion.
Yeah, you don't want them like all to be similar.
Yeah,
because that'd be a lot.
So there was that kind of moment of saying like we just didn't pick someone based on something, but it was just really like taking a look at everything and finding people's point of view. And I think that was a really big thing that how we chose this year, regards to the designers that we picked. Like I think local definitely took a forefront, but then it was also kind of saying like let's also get perspective.
Yeah,
let's get a view.
How does that last night work? Like, you guys have a runway,
Yeah, so it's at the Capitol Theater in the Kelly, and essentially Mel Lushier's hosting it.
Cool.
So we really want it to feel camp, a little bit comedy. We don't want it like feeling like when you go to New York or Milan or Paris. We wanted to kind of give a flair of what Windsor is. So I don't want to lift the skirt completely, but I think you're going to come in and get a show. But it's basically 7 rounds. And each, they create a full mini collection. They pick their models already, so they're going to come out. They have their own music, just like a standard fashion show is.
Yep.
And they'll come out. We have 6 judges. Each of them score it based on, really based on outfit. We really told the judges, don't look at makeup, don't look at hair. That's just an additive. Mm-hmm. But really like construction, cohesiveness, like things like that to really evaluate. We're looking at it in a fashion eye. We don't want to look at it like everything, the full picture, but I find like sometimes like because the hair is good or the makeup's good, we judge something on the full package when I really want to start judging the clothing.
Yeah, I get it. That makes sense. Is each designer, so each designer's in each round?
Yes.
So they're doing
so each designer is each round.
That's how, okay. Yeah. That was my question.
Yeah.
So designer 1 has their first round.
Yeah.
And how many outfits are they doing per round?
They can do a maximum of 5.
Cool.
So they're mini collections. And what's really, really amazing about this is that these are mini collections that no one's seen. Cool. So like from the day that we picked, that's why we did in November. Like that was our first thing running, is like get our designers, because we need to give them time to like draft it or sketch it, find the materials, source it, create it, and then the next thing was models and just making sure that was fit to like it's like just really from like beginning to end. and creating that whole thing for them.
Are they, do they have like categories or things they have to hit, or they can just do whatever they want for their outfits?
Anything.
That's cool.
Yeah. In regards to like however they want to view it or however they want to do it, like just say like someone like Designs by Sav, it's their fashion is repurposed. So like you would take like different clothing and put it together and restructure it and redo things, where like, you know, someone like Fashion, it's more like she's in an aspect of bridal but gothic.
Oh, cool.
So like you're getting different aspects, and then even like Aura, that's Cindy, and she wants to look at things in more like in the aspect of her Vietnamese culture. Cool. So you're gonna get like different looks on what people like, what each designer is doing, while also like I think it's really hard to judge like in a way that like what is it that we're judging on? Uh-huh. I know what we're judging on, but it's gonna be those big things of like cohesiveness and like making sure that everything is like to the nines.
You don't have to name them all, but where did you find your judges? Like, who are the judges? How are they sourced?
You would ask me a question I don't have written down.
I know, that's why I said you don't have to do the names.
It's so we wanted people. We wanted, as a committee, we wanted judges that are kind of maybe not so much fashion enthusiasts, but we wanted business people. Like we wanted someone that like goes to a gala or like dresses for work, or like we want someone that's a part of like the LGBT community and seen something different. We wanted an eye that wasn't so much like, because some of the judges came back to us and were like, well, we don't know fashion. And I'm like, but you do. Like you do, like we have a tailor, of course. I'm just saying like the judges that we picked were based on just their kind of view on fashion.
Yeah, I understand. That makes sense. That's cool to give it like a little more diversity, I guess.
Yeah. I just think if we picked people that judge fashion in regards to what fashion is, you're gonna get a different like outlook on what they like. Where if you bring someone into fashion, mm-hmm. that would maybe look at something and the way they would buy it, or the way that like it's like constructed, or the way that things are put together. From
like a fan's point of view, more so than a professional's point of view.
Yeah. And I just really wanted that.
Yeah, like if you did like a band audition, mm-hmm. you have music fans in the audience, not musicians.
Yeah,
that's what you're
and I
looking
think
for.
you get a different like outlook on it. Mm-hmm. You get a different taste, and you might bring in something that was maybe not expected. Yeah. That's just something that I and this has been a committee thing. You have to look at people's point of views, especially on a committee, and you have to say, you know what, that is actually a good point. Mm-hmm. Like rather than me just picking everything and me making the points on everything, because then that's just my point of view. Or if you listen to the people around you and you kind of say, you know what, that's true. We should like change it up and change the way that we produce things and function.
Yeah, no, that sounds great. How many people are you guys having for that event? Like how many tickets are?
For the final day, there's 200.
Cool.
So there's only 50 VIP, because the way that the 2 days prior work is there's only 75 tickets per day. Okay. So if we would have just did 75 VIP, that would have ate up every ticket in every aspect. So that's why we kind of have the 25 for the first day of the exhibit at show, 25 individual for the social talk. But we have 50 VIP. So once the 3-day pass of VIP is booked, basically that's 75 tickets across the board.
Okay.
And then the rest would be general admission for the competition. So I think right now we're sitting about like 100 left in regards to the competition. But people in Windsor, no offense, anyone watching, we're last minute. We buy tickets last minute. Like we kind of like wait to the week before for some reason. I don't know why. I mean, I do it too. And I don't know why we do it.
Just in case you're tired that night. I don't know.
Or even like day of, the amount of tickets, like people come to like the door. I mean, I've done it too, but I've just noticed that people buy in here like week of, day of.
I get anxious if I don't want to miss it, then I'll buy it in advance.
Totally.
But if I'm like kind of up in the air, like I'll buy it at the door.
Right.
Just so like, I don't know, sometimes me and my wife will be at home and we'll be like, oh, we got to go to this thing at 9. Like I want to go to bed at 9.
Right. It's true.
But we have tickets already.
Yeah. Which is great, but it's I like it. That's a thing that I'm realizing,
Yeah.
especially being at St. Clair through their fashion shows when I was in school there.
Yeah.
It was always like that. But what's so funny is that you could say it's sold out, and the fact that it is sold out, and if it's like sold out 3 weeks prior, for those 3 weeks, you're gonna have people being like, how can I, come on, there's got to be a way. I'm like, babe, there's no way. So get those tickets.
How much are the tickets just for the last day?
The last day is 30 plus the capital fees.
Okay.
And then the full VIP week is 75 plus the capital fees, which is $5.
Okay.
So, and then the first day is 45, and then the middle day is 25. So essentially, if you get the VIP 3-day pass, you essentially get like you're only paying for 2 days.
Yeah, that makes sense. Nice. That makes sense that the first day's the most because you guys are giving like wine and food and stuff, right?
Oh yeah, that's gonna be a fabulous. Just saying,
I'm coming to that.
That it's gonna be great.
Cool. That's on is that a Tuesday?
Tuesday. Yeah.
So the final night's the Thursday.
Yes.
Okay. I should know this. Where is the panel talk at Capitol Theater too?
No, it's at Meteor. Sorry,
yes,
I meant to bring that.
Meteor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I just love Meteor in a way that like Ian there is just so good with tech. Like it's just amazing.
Yeah, things sound good there.
Yeah, and he's so on it, and the lighting's always great. He always gets your logo up on the back of the screen. Mm-hmm. And then just the staging there for even a panel discussion, fabulous. Just I have to give accolades to Meteor just for the fact that like the IT there is just like he does such a great job.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. So like I know you don't have the questions yet, but like what is a basic question that you think might be asked that night?
For the social talk?
Like the one where I'm sitting.
Well, first we're gonna talk about you and say who you are, and then like just the kind of intro, mm-hmm. and then I would probably say like the starting would be where like what made you get into like the point of the like if you are the photographer, mm-hmm. like the view of photography. What made you get into it? What are those ways that you would have like got you into where you started?
Yep.
Where did you find like successes were? Like what did you found worked? Because if someone comes in wanting to do photography because they know like someone on the panel is a photographer, we really want to get the insight as like someone that maybe wants to get into that field, okay. regardless if it's fashion or not. Mm-hmm. How did you get into it? What worked? So people can like kind of like, and we might have like a Q&A afterwards, but the conversation and the questions will be based on getting that insight from you or getting that insight from like Melanie Reno, like as someone that's been in pageants and like has traveled to like Thailand recently and been a part of like a pageant there. Like, what do you like? What are like just what are things that have worked? What are things that can help me get into it? Or like, what would you stay away from? Or just those questions.
Yeah, no, that's great. I think that'll bring up some really good conversations with everybody because we're all such diverse fields of.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And when you think of like the aspect of the full panel of fashion, so when you're saying like what are the questions, I think it's just gonna like kind of feed within one another.
Okay.
Because in a way, it's also I think it's gonna bring a light to a different conversation.
Yeah.
And like new ways of like building the economy or building like the local economy in Windsor, Essex. It's a conversation I don't think we have talked about. I know there's been like YQG talks in different facets, but we've never opened it up in a way of like fashion and how integrated things are when it comes to like from someone that's modeling, someone that's a photographer. We wanted to keep it slimmed down because panel can really get wild if you have like 8 people.
For sure.
But like things like makeup and hair and like just there's so many aspects to what fashion is. Mm-hmm. And it's really cool when you think about like how much it takes to create.
Yeah. No, it sounds really cool. Do you guys have photographers on the main night, like photographing the show and stuff?
We have like our Fashion Week Windsor photographer. Okay. Her name's Crystal. And it was just the beginning. Like it was that really rough thing where you're like, this is our budget. Can you work with us? And
are you guys letting people that want to do it like for themselves?
I probably have to talk with like the capital to make sure that we can like just based on capacity. Okay. Like if that was doable. So I'm going to probably write that down once we're done. Because that's actually a good like kind of talking point because
like people will probably do it and not want to get paid. They'll want to do it to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I agree with you. Like that would be something to put out there.
And I'm going to say that because I get paid for those things, but like I also do those things when I want to do them for free.
I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you for that. It's not always about like payment. It can be like just getting there and taking something that has never been seen before.
Exactly. Like I would shoot something like that, like for myself, for sure. Like there's a lot of things I would shoot for myself.
See, the way I see it, like I see it in my way, but I like that. Like you're like, well, it could be like this. I'm like, oh yeah, that's true. Like that could be a thing.
And it's funny, like when I do things for myself, I obviously do them differently. Like if there was, let's just say like a general fashion, say there was a fashion week in London, just so it has nothing to do with you, and I got asked to shoot it. Like I'm doing it their way. Whatever they want, I'll probably like photos of every single person, multiple ones, every designer, can't miss anything. Like it's a job, like returned and sent back within like the next day or two. That's why I'm being paid. But if I was there for myself for fun, like I would like, I don't care if I miss one that I'm not interested in, you know, or maybe like I'll just edit and put out like my favorite 20 and it might take 2 weeks to do it or something. You know what I mean? It's just a lot different. And that's the difference between, like, I guess doing it for fun and doing it for money. Yeah.
Depending on like how you're going about it. Yeah. I agree with you on that.
Yeah. Okay. So we'll get back into it in a minute, but I want to get into your drag journey about being a drag queen. Okay. When did you start doing that?
Oh my God. Like too long ago. I mean, it feels like maybe like 13 years, 14 years. Like I was probably like 16, went to Pride for the first time, like maybe like 16, 17. I'm 30 now. So yeah, I'd probably say like, probably like 17.
The first time I saw you was probably like 10 years ago. Yeah, like 10 years ago. Probably the first time I ever saw you. Yeah. Did you do like a dirty bingo at St. Clair?
I did.
Yeah, that's probably the first time I saw you.
Yeah, like very beginning. That was so beginning.
That was,
Oh, I didn't get booked for that again. That was the first time hosting something. Like I feel like there's a big difference in, like when we think of drag, there's a difference between like doing a performance, and that's a hard thing to get into is like start talking and like building that like hosting and like being funny and having quick comebacks. Like that takes time. Yeah. Like that's like, I mean, for some people that can just get into it and do it, I mean, I applaud them and I'm like, it takes a different breed, but like to host something and get that confidence and know your ebb and flow, it does take time, but yes. So about 13 years. And then I would say probably at about 10-year mark, it was like when I was really into it and was like really making what I would say strides within the community. And then, you know, I was on the board of Windsor Essex Pride Festival. So just being a part of that allowed me like just to be a part of our local drag. And I want to just say, when I got into drag, there wasn't like 15 drag queens like there is now, like in Windsor. Like, I think I know of like maybe 2 drag queens that I knew of. And like, they weren't even actively practicing. Okay.
Wow. Isn't there somebody who, I saw them at Pride 2 years ago and they I think they were on RuPaul's Drag Race or something and they're from like the county.
So Canada's Drag Race. That was either probably like Juicebox or BOA.
Okay.
So they moved to Toronto and they got into Canada's Drag Race. And and that's a whole other thing. Like 10 years ago, there was no Canada's Drag Race. There was RuPaul's, but there was no like Canadian version that kind of upped the scale of what we're doing.
Yeah. Okay.
And then even furthermore, like locally, we don't have a queer bar. Like, and I think I don't want to ramble on too much because when we talk about drag and the way that you want to hear drag, in a moment there was like, I was just doing something that I really wanted to do when no one else was really kind of doing it. And I was just doing it to enjoy it. And it was like, I did it maybe like 2 times a year.
Okay.
And this is before like drag events were happening like 3 times, like 2 times a month now. And it's just the way that it's changed is amazing. But when you think of 10 years ago, like drag wasn't happening here. It really wasn't.
Yeah. I think you were probably the first one I ever saw.
Yeah. And I just think that no one wanted to really do it. It wasn't really like, you saw drag queens that came over, but I don't know how it dissipated or like, sorry, you asked the next question. Cause I think it's just one of those things that's hard to talk about because it was just so like not prevalent.
Okay. I understand.
And now we're like 10 years later or 13 years later from me starting it. And you have so many more drag queens here that are like, there's events, like there's there's spaces in Windsor that like promote queer art.
Which is great.
Like Villains and Meteor and even Fog and like Chapter 2 Brewery, Walkerville Brewery. Like those places, like I wouldn't say that they didn't want to open their door at the time, but there wasn't like enough people to like do events and create things.
Yeah, that's nice that there is now. Did you make? Actually, wait. This is my next question. My first question is: do you still do it? When was the last time you performed?
Oh, I'm too fat for that now. No, but I mean, like it's like it's not. It doesn't bring me joy. Let's just say that.
Yeah,
like,
don't do it.
Like so, like Hawaii Good Vibes, the drag name. Is like I've just said, like, you know, that should just be like the fashion brand. That should just be like what I'm creating. Mm-hmm. It doesn't say like it doesn't mean like I might go to Toronto one time, pack a little bag and makeup, and maybe like go out to an open mic, or if there's an open mic here or something, I might do something.
Yeah.
But like I've just hit a point where if I work my 7 days a week or 4 days a week, and then I'm scheduled for a show in 3 months from now. It's not like I just pack up my guitar and like, no offense to anyone, but it's not like I pack up a guitar and like just show up. Like, no, gotta shave my face, gotta slather on a bunch of makeup. I gotta like, find the energy too, get into the mode, get into like that aspect. And like, you're putting on a show for people, you're extra, you're just gotta sell yourself, and you really gotta like be like just an essence of something.
Yeah.
And I would book myself, and then I'd get to the day, kind of like you when you buy a ticket to something and you're just like, oh, 9 o'clock.
Yeah.
And it hits that point, you're done work, and then it's just like, I don't like the rushing. I don't like there's just so much that goes into it that I think it just started feeling exhausting, and it didn't bring me joy. Where like maybe one day I'll like wake up and just say like, I'm gonna go out to Fog, and I'm just gonna get done up, and I'm just gonna go out and act a mess. Yeah. Like I don't mind that. That's a fun time.
Yeah, that is a fun time. Would you ever incorporate like a drag performance like into maybe like Fashion Week in the years coming?
So Friday we are thinking about doing a closing dance party at the Masonic Temple, like through
in Detroit.
No, the one downtown.
The one on.
Everyone goes right to Detroit. I love that. I've been talking about it a little bit to some people. Like in Detroit, like no.
It's the one across from the hospital.
Yeah,
yeah. I've never been in there.
It's beautiful.
Is it?
Yeah.
Cool.
I think they're called Temple Bloom. They're a production company.
Cool.
So again, like it's coming together right now. We're hoping that it like by the time this airs, maybe it's like promoted, and that it's up and running. But we just wanted to have we wanted to have an after party on the Thursday, but it's just like if I'm starting at 10 a.m. that day of the competition. By 10 p.m. and do teardown, I'm not going to want to do, like, maybe other people will, but on a Thursday at 10 p.m., who's really wanting to go out?
Yeah.
So then I said to myself, and I was talking to a drag queen, Epoxy, and I was like, do you think this would be doable on a Friday? And then she kind of like just brought some ideas to me, and I just said, yeah, let's do it. So like we're just working on getting those like the fine details together.
So it wouldn't be after the big event Thursday, it would be the next day.
It'd be Friday.
That's cool.
And it would just be like a dance party with drag queens.
Okay.
Yeah.
A few.
Like maybe I want it big though.
Cool.
That's the thing. Like I don't, especially with Fashion Week, I just don't want it to be like this like skimmed down.
Yeah.
It's
it seems like you guys are doing a really good job with Fashion Week. Like high scale, like high quality.
And that's the thing though. If you're gonna do a closing dance party, I think that was like the question for me. It's like there's already so much money being put into this. There's a budget, so then you have to say to yourself like, is there a way that we can do this like low budget
but still
high quality?
Yeah.
And then you kind of have to and then I think we figured it out, but
nice.
So it's 90% happening.
Cool.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, I guess like when you're doing you guys seem to be putting together such a great event so far. Mm-hmm. So yeah, you can't have a shitty final party.
No, you can't.
Yeah, it's got to fit the vibe.
It does.
Yeah.
But
makes sense.
and you want to give that feel of I wanted that feel where the drag queens are more of the fashion and they're performing, but it's not so much about flips and kicks, but I want their outfits to be nice. But then it's also saying I want the dance feel of loop. Like I want to bring back that feel. I want to bring that back, the essence of like just wanting to be dancing.
Yeah.
I think we miss that sometimes, and we don't get many days of just, so it's curating that feeling that is like kind of Fashion Week and bringing it those, yeah, sorry, I'm over talking. It's
No,
just,
you're good.
but it's just creating, each day is about creating something and bringing highlighting something amazing about it.
Yeah.
And having a point of view. So whether, you know, the exhibit and having like this kind of like the exhibit of different designs and like having the live music and it was about the hors d'oeuvres and this complimentary beverages and wine tasting. You want to transport someone to something. And then the social talk, it's like people like having like a really cool conversation with you included and Lisa Williams and hosting it, like a really big socialite. And then you have that competition where it's just like, oh, they're competing for a grand prize. It's really fabulous stuff that you've never seen before. So it's just making sure that each day was just honed in on making sure that like it sets a bar.
Yeah, no, it sounds great. I'm super excited. Now you're making me all excited. I want to go to the other events now too, which I'm gonna come. For sure. I'm like most excited for the first night to just drink some wine and just like mingle with
Honestly,
people.
Though,
it'll be fun.
And see some art and I don't know if anyone that is listening, like Show Studios is beautiful.
I've
like,
never been in
no,
there. I've seen it, but I've never been in there.
It's such a walkable space. Have you ever been to Retro Suites in Chatham? It feels like that.
Really?
Like you can just walk through the entire building.
Okay.
Like yeah, there's that. I think there's gonna be that moment like we're like in the exhibit. Like there's just it's a really nice walkable space, and you can kind of like get an idea like, oh, I could do something here, or I could like do something there.
Cool. I'm excited. When you perform, do you make your own outfits?
I did here and there.
Okay.
I would say that I've always been a person that's designed for women.
Okay.
And I think men's, like, again, I'm a man. I have a man body. Like, so, like, the leotard that I would make for a woman is not the same leotard I'm making for my, like, box body.
Yeah.
So, like, so that was something that I've tried in, like, my later years of my career. I used to just wear, like old costumes from like the Kathy's Dance Studio once the girls have been out of it, because Lycra like stretches, and I just found like you just get a nice size, and so I would buy like old costumes from Kathy's, and then but in recent time I've started like trying to create costumes for myself, or creating like a style that I like, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, I get it. Yeah.
Because even my drag has changed from when I started in doing dance costumes, and I felt like as we age, it's like, that's so not me anymore. Like, I'm not getting into this little Lycra bodysuiting, like this little like dance number.
Yeah.
Where now I'm like, no, I have an aesthetic. I have a point of view. I know the kind of outfits that I wear. I'm actually really conservative today. Normally it's like florals and like oversized, like just, but that also creates the character that you're creating. So like, as I've built what I like making in fashion, and because I have like a taste that's way different than what people would wear on a normal day, I've started saying like, that is my drag costumes. Like, that is what I perform in, and people might judge it. People might be like, that's not drag. I'm like, but that's drag to me. So there's this kind of like, there's those points where you say, I do drag really kind of every day, because I'm wearing outfits that normally people wouldn't wear on an everyday basis.
Yep.
And I could like go today and just go get like some tomatoes, but I could also wear that same outfit with a face of makeup and say, I'm in drag.
Yeah, no, I understand. That makes sense. Do you, are you still making clothes? Like, are you still doing stuff like that?
Right now, no.
No.
Like, Fashion Week is taking up way more time than I would like. I am showcasing something at the exhibit, but it's going to be something I've already made. Okay. So it kind of sucks. I'm expecting like people to make something, and I just don't have the time.
Yeah, no, it makes sense. You only got, what do you got? How long? 5 weeks? 5.5?
Yeah, about that.
Yeah, it's Tuesday. Yeah, you got like 5 weeks from today.
And it's,
yeah, that's not a lot of time.
And a lot of times when you've been doing like something like Fashion Week for so long, like you're like, if you were like busy doing something completely like, or you got booked for like this really big gig and the podcast kind of like got put on like the pause, it might just end up like in the back somewhere. Yeah. No, so then, sure. And then sometimes what happens is you got to pull it all out. You got to set up the dates. You got to like there's just so much like, yeah, my point. Like,
I get it. Yeah.
Like just it's feels like a lot of work just to like get it all out and start. Where it's just like my house has become like different for what I need it right now compared to like when I was creating like a mini collection like last year.
I think that happens to artists all the time. Like that back room is where I build all my picture frames. But for the next 2 weeks, I'm painting from scratch and doing a motorcycle gas tank.
Nice.
So my whole workshop is like transformed into this paint room, and I can't do anything else in there for 2 or 2.5 weeks. It
Exactly.
sucks. But you know, it's what happens.
And that's you make a choice of like what is it that I'm doing? Yeah, I totally agree with you.
Yeah. What are you doing right now?
And sometimes you get you get that itch, and you're like, you want to do those frames, or I'm like, I get that itch, or I'm like, oh, I could totally whip something up, but I'm like, the amount of mess I'm going to create if I like, take everything out and start sewing.
Yeah, so I'm trying to get it done like fast, but obviously you can't rush.
No,
but it's like
never rush.
I know. So like I haven't done a coat today. The other thing is too, I can't paint it because I work out here. Like this my office is where I am all day, so I don't want to smell paint fumes all day. Like, I'll die. So I can only paint it in the evening, and then it's good in the morning. But so even when we're done tonight, I might do a coat on it. Which like I don't want to do because I'm tired.
But you got to do it.
You got to do it, yeah.
Because then tomorrow when you have the coat done, you're like, oh, I got that coat done.
Yeah, and I'm like one step forward to
just one little step.
Wrapping this up.
Right.
It's funny, like you do these things you love, but like so many times it's like, oh, it's like this daunting thing. Like,
and then once you start sometimes, like getting into it, like once you start, it's like, you're like, oh, might as well do 4 more.
Yeah. No, it's true. You're right. Yeah. Might as well just like, I've already added things to the process that I wasn't going to do. Yeah. I was like, I'm not going to do that.
The amount of emails I dread to do. And then once I start doing the emails, I'm like, let's just do all of them.
That's the way to do it though.
Yeah.
Yeah. So are you working on this every day right now? Fashion Week?
No.
That's good.
I don't think anything you should do like every day. Yeah. Like you gotta like make those choices. Like again, what you're saying is just doing that one coat. I'm like, okay, like, because this isn't paying me full time. Like, like I'm creating it, and it's like great that I'm doing it, and then I have a committee, and like I trust what they're doing as well, and they take on their tasks. But each day I'm like saying, okay, I'm gonna get these 2 things done, get that done. Tomorrow I'll do something else. Just don't burn yourself out. It's like anyone that's creating something or doing a new event or something that's going to be something great for the community. Just make those choices and just like always take time for yourself. Always enjoy what you're doing. Because if you start burning yourself out and like on like both sides of like the candlestick, you're not going to want to do it.
Oh, for sure.
So you just got to like want to enjoy what you're doing.
Yeah. Where can you talk about like where did the funding come from for this year for the first one? Like how'd you guys do that?
Oh, it's out of my own pocket.
Oh, okay. All right.
But it's in those choices that like I it's like, you know, some people have said like, oh, like how can you afford that? And I'm like, well, I don't have kids. Like there's things where I just like I don't like no not offensive people with kids. I'm just saying, but I don't have like there's certain aspects that I spend money on where you kind of say to yourself like maybe I cut back some of the Pinot Grigio. Yeah. Like you cut back on certain things, or I don't go out to eat every Friday. Like, and then you start realizing if I save that money for 6 months, I can pay my deposits on everything. And like, and you kind of just say like, you just start spending that money and like you put down the deposits and you set like a boundary as well. Cause you have these moments where people are like, I want 100%. I'm like, well, I'll find someone else then. Yeah. Like I'm fine with the 50%. Like you have to trust that like, I'm going to have money come in and I pay the rest of it when the event is done. But you kind of have to establish that, especially in your first year, because especially in your first year, people are willing to work with you in your first year. And that's something that I just realized through Fashion Week. Like people that want to work with you will work with you. And those are the people that when you go forward from year to year to year, those are the people that you want to work with.
Yeah, for sure.
Because everyone's going to come knocking on the door like on second, third year when it's fully established and being like, we want to be a part of it. And never say no, but just realize that when you're creating something, that how beneficial it is that people do want to help you. And there are people out there that want to benefit you by like, you know, some in kind or bringing down the price of something or just, Yeah.
You get to the third year because of the people that help you out this year.
Exactly. Yeah. And reinvests.
Yeah. You can still keep those people around. No, that's great. I love like, I obviously do it too. Like I put a lot of I'm the only one, so it just means I put all my own money into my own like personal projects.
Yeah.
You just do it because you love it, and that's what you do.
Well, and set those boundaries though too, and say like, and I said it, and I even said I even said to Rick, my significant other, I said, we are not spending money next year. Like, I don't care if it gets bad this year and that it just breaks even. There's no money, like there's nothing. Like there's like, you got to set those boundaries too, to say next year it's like, we got to make it work. Like this is what it is. This is what we have. And not to say it's not going to, but it's just because you can't always every year just like be shelling out money out of your own pocket. Sometimes like seed money is great and that you kind of put money in, and that's fine sometimes to get the ball rolling, because sometimes you got to. But I'm just saying with you, or like just anyone out there, it's like, just make sure you're setting boundaries to say like year 2, like there's like, you can't always be doing it.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. And I think once you like everything that you've explained of how it's going to go this year, I think it's going to be really great. And I think next year it's going to be like easy for people to be interested in it.
Exactly.
And, maybe make it a little bit bigger.
But then the deposits are down. Like that's what's really cool. Like when you do events like this, and when you build it in a way, going back on funding, if you don't rely heavily on money that you're going to get from like third party sources, and you say like, we have to work with what we have, I just find like if you can do that for your first year, you're like so good. And just don't overspend if you get that extra money. Like just be like, we're going to still stick to the budget. It doesn't have to be grander. Just maybe sometimes like give artists more, or pay your models, or just be like, this year we got this money and we're going to maybe do something that is more beneficial, that people want to work with you. So when money does come in, like models are like, we know that if money comes in, we will get paid. Not that you are going to get paid, but it's just the people that you work with want to work with you because there are incentives that if we are doing well, you're doing well. Yeah.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Sorry if I'm over talking.
You're not over talking. It's the podcast, and I want you to talk. I hate when I'm not talk. I hate when I talk too much on it. So I'm always like, I talk too much. I actually have it in my notes, like my checklist on here at the bottom. It says, let them talk as long as they want, because it's just better. I don't know. People are here to listen to you, not me. So, and with that, where did you get your inspiration to start Windsor Fashion Week? Why did you do this? So
it's Fashion Week Windsor.
Fashion Week Windsor. Sorry.
So, no, I'm not. No, it's just some people do say like Windsor Fashion Week. I'm like, no, it's Fashion Week Windsor. So it's Fashion Week Windsor presented by Stitch Happens, because they are presenting sponsor this year, which was really amazing. So the idea came from, essentially, I would say St. Clair College creates a fashion show every year from the fashion design department, and it's a really great show, and it sells out. Like it's just like you cannot get tickets by third week. Like by the third week going in, people like, it's like a slow buying, and then all of a sudden like you get to your third week and it's like sold out, and then people are like, can I get tickets? And I just love that like you create this mini collection of your basically graduating collection, and you showcase it on this like scale, and it's judged. You win money from the Alumni Association or whoever they get the money from that year, and I just really love that they showcased it. However, what happens afterwards? And then you kind of get in this moment of like local community, and I'm like, well, what's really happening here with fashion? I've gotten grants and everything through like Arts, Culture, and Heritage Fund for like sewing classes and all that fun jazz. And I've always tried to progress things in a way, but I was like, someone's got to do something. And I think it was just in October, and I said, this is something I want to do. And I had like the idea of like these 3 days and like having like those different moments of showcasing different aspects. And then I just think I was talking to the right people, and I said, yeah, just set a date. Like the first thing to do is set a date. So I think I just set, like, I was just like, you don't want to do like February is dedicated Black History Month. So it just became like, and then you were like looking at March. So I didn't want to do anything in February because I didn't want to take away. And then you have March, and then you sometimes, depending on if it's Easter, March break. So then you got to like fiddle those days. And then I think like in April, because I was looking at Easter, because Easter changes throughout the years, and you got to think like 3 years in advance. So then I kind of was like, and then it kind of came down to like March 25th, 26th, 27th. And once I set that day, it was kind of like, then one of my community members was just like, 6 months, really? Like 6 months? 6 months, girl? And I just said, well, we got to do it. Like, it's like, and then it just, so the fact that when you're saying, what's the idea? I think ideas just kind of like come up all the time, just whether or not we do something with them. Mm-hmm. So I think that the idea just came up and I kind of just within a week set a day and I just said, okay, we're doing it. Like it's happening.
Yeah. That's the difference between, a dream and a goal.
Yeah.
Is putting it on your calendar.
Yeah. And then it was just like, hey, let's find the venues. What are we doing? Like, where's this happening? And then just like, I think the venues was the hard one.
Yeah.
Just because it is 6 months in advance, only 6 months. Mm-hmm. Like venues book up.
Yeah. I think you did perfect venues. Like we're in Walkerville for the fun kind of like social night. And then you're bringing everybody across the street from where the big show is the night before. That's kind of cool.
And then you have the Capitol.
Which is obviously the best place you could have probably picked.
Well, and then the Kelly's intimate. Mm-hmm. So I think you're going to really get like a good intimate moment as well. Like, because I think the Pentastar was just too big, especially for fashion. If it's too far away, you don't get the same like look and feel.
Yeah, you got to be up close. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I like the Kelly in the way that it's like, and then hopefully the last day we do like a little dance party at the Masonic. So it really keeps it all downtown.
Yeah. Is there anything else about this event that you want to say, get out, talk about, promote?
Yes. What I want to really point out is that Fashion Week Windsor, and I don't want to quote completely if this is like incorrect in some way. When people applied, we didn't ask for an application fee. Like we are not like, and this is within fashion. When I looked across like Canada, a lot of times people like have an application fee or then you have to pay to be a part of it. Mm-hmm. We're not funding Fashion Week Windsor on the backs of designers.
Okay.
Like we are allowing them to apply, we vet them, we choose them, and then like there's a lot of steps that go into like being a part of the show. It's not like just like make your garments and be a part of it. Like no, you got to make, there's deadlines and things and hair and music and boards and blah, 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 blah. But what we are doing is that we're paying those designers to be a part of it. We don't charge them to be a part of it. And I think like something in our community is that I really want to showcase that we need to stop trying to fund our events and ideas on the backs of artists. We should be the ones to support them.
That's awesome.
And I get that sometimes we do need to bring in some kind of revenue, but sometimes we really need to focus on how can we create events that support artists without like they're not the reason why this is happening.
Yeah, no, I love that. Like you focus on getting your revenue from sponsors and from attendees.
Yeah,
and that's give the money to.
And that's our job. Mm-hmm. Your job as an artist is to be paid the best that we can to create something, bring that forward, maybe sell some tickets if you can. That's always great. Mm-hmm. But I just wanted to like just finish with that is that like Fashion Week Windsor is not it's not a business or an organization. I don't know. Fashion Week Windsor is not a project that is based on like charging the people that are a part of it, rather than we're doing our best to support them financially in the best way that we can and give them the most exposure that we can as well.
That's great. That's a great point to end on. Where, because so you guys have your Facebook page, Fashion Week Windsor.
Fashion Week Windsor.
What else do you got going on?
We don't have a website yet.
Okay.
It's again, just going back to like we started in October, and I think people will get that.
Yeah.
So it's just best way you can get a hold of us is like tickets. I'd say through the Capitol Theater, and then follow us on Facebook, Fashion Week Windsor. That's the best way that we can be like about it right now.
Have you done like a PR run? Like have you sent out press releases?
Yes. Nice. Like we did like a press day on January 28th. Okay. And we had like BizX, Windsor Life there. And nice. We had Kira McKenzie and Ronaldo Nadashek.
Okay. Where are they from?
Ward 9 and Ward 3.
Oh, okay.
Like our city councilors.
Yeah.
And anyone that's like puts out press releases and if news doesn't come, again, it just goes back to look at the people that do show up. And it's always, I think that's just something that I think anyone out there needs to learn as they're creating an event is don't stop your best to like not look at it half empty. Just look at who is supporting you and what is being put out there. Cause like, It doesn't make sense.
Yeah, it makes sense.
It's always growing. It's always learning. It's always trying to do better. And just, if you're doing your best, it's the best that you can do.
Yeah, for sure. No, you're doing a great job for year one. Like, I think it's going to be really fun. No, I'm looking forward to it even more.
Follow us on Facebook.
Facebook. And you said they can get their tickets to the Capitol Theater. How? Website?
Yeah. So just go through just go to Capitol website, look for upcoming events. I think we're like maybe 6th in the upcoming events.
Now that's just for the final night.
No, so like all the ticket links are through each event.
Okay, so they're all on there.
Yeah.
So they can buy tickets for the event at show on there.
Yeah. So like if you went to like the exhibit, it'll say click here, and then it brings you to like the actual like Facebook event page.
Got you. That makes
so
sense.
Then the ticket link will be there, and so we just did our best to like work with the Capitol in a way to kind of like, we really are just directing people to Capitol for tickets. So it's kind of like the one-stop shop, and has a full like run through of who and what's going where and blah 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 blah.
Yeah, that makes sense. Keep it organized.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thanks for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
That was a good chat. All right, guys, make sure you follow Fashion Week Windsor on Facebook and buy tickets if there's any left.
Yeah, thank you.
Oh, thanks again.
Yeah.
That was great.
If you need to edit anything, like, sorry if I overtalked.
That was perfect. I'm not editing anything.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.